Day. Oh my gosh, we're here. It's day 4. Whoop, 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 whoop. Can I get a little chair dance, everyone? I would love that. Come on in. I came on just like 20 seconds early. I mean, I don't know. My clock says 60 seconds early. Let's call it 20. And I came in a little early just to give you time to file in before we officially start. And now I see we're there. So give a shout out in the comments. Yeah, that's right. Laura, you know the drill. She's already saying, like, I'm in Saskatchewan. You know an old pro when you see one. So that's awesome. Who else where are you listening in from? Make sure and, just type in, tell us about your business too. You've got this open forum or right here in the comments, whether you're listening live or on replay, pop in, tell us what you're doing, what your business is, why you're listening in, how you heard about us. I love hearing from where you're from. Go ahead and hit me with all the goodness. So I'm so excited because guess what? Oh my gosh, it's the Joypreneur Summit again. We've got a whole day today. We've got a whole full day. And it's the last day. Wow. I will admit I'm like a little melancholy about it. So I say what we do is we go out with a bang. This is the summit where you discover how to build your business the fun, light, and easy way, how to build your business quickly and easily, dumping all that stupid hustle and grind and discipline yourself and get out of your comfort zone and all that stupid stuff you hear on the worldwide interwebs everywhere. And instead, realize that you can build your business the fun, light, and easy way. You can do something that you love to do, get clients with it, convert clients, build your business, grow your following, all of that good stuff, doing something you love. And so we're going to talk to people who are actually doing that in their businesses. They're in all kinds of different businesses. First up, we're going to have Angela. She's a body image coach. We've got people today who are mindset experts. We've got people who are doodlers. We've got people who are spiritual entrepreneurs and money experts and. I mean, it is going to be a fun-filled, packed day. The link to make sure that you have the full agenda is right below in the description box. And so go ahead and just look at that description box and you'll get the link for the full agenda today. And you'll also see a link there to join the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club. That's where all these people come from. You know what? We're a whole group of people who get it that you don't need to do things that you hate to do to build your business. We get it that mindset matters most. We lead with mindset. We lead with positivity. We have fun. We dance a lot. And we enjoy our lives and our businesses. And through that happiness, that's how we make money. If you want to be part of the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, I've got a very special limited time bonus for you right now. Last day of the summit, you can go out and sign up today. And no matter where you are in the world, I will ship the pen of expectation to you. The pen of expectation, everything you write with it will come true. And I know you want that. If you're already in the club and you're like, hey, I want that too. What's up? Can I get that? Go ahead and check the post I made yesterday. And there is a way for you to get that as well. So I am super psyched to have you meet Angela Humburg. Oh my gosh, we are going to have such a nice conversation. Angela is a body image coach. Now, she is a certified intuitive eating dietitian, and she's passionate about breaking free from that old concept of diet culture. Like, are we so sick of diet culture? And are we so sick of feeling bad about ourselves and the negative body image and all of that stuff? So she uses cognitive behavioral coaching, and she helps people trust themselves, trust their bodies, love their bodies, have more acceptance. I know we're going to get into all sorts of interesting things today related to not only intuitive eating and body image and all those good topics, but also mindset and how she is using mindset to build her business and how she helps her clients use mindset when it comes to loving their bodies and finding the method for them that works the best. And so without further ado, I'm super psyched. Welcome, Angela Humburg. Yeah, the crowd goes I know we got lots of
Thank
claps.
you.
Hey, Marilyn's in the house. Everybody, that's so good to see you. So Angela, oh my gosh, I think we need to start with maybe some definitions. I think maybe we should start out kind of first of all talking about what do you mean when you say diet culture? Because I think we all think we know what you mean, but can you talk a little bit about what it is?
Absolutely. So when we say diet culture, what we're talking about is a $70 billion industry that dictates how we think about our bodies, how we feel about our bodies, and it normalizes weight control. It normalizes fat phobia too. So
Yeah.
diet culture is not just, someone's on a diet. It is a $70 billion industry that is constantly in our day to day, every day, in our feeds, everywhere.
Wow.
Diet culture is it's mammoth. It's huge.
Yeah, 70 billion. Like it's so, it's funny because for myself anyway, we get about our daily lives and we just kind of are doing our own thing and we're having our days. And we sometimes forget like how much money is put into showing us images that help to train our brains in the wrong way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's really interesting for you to talk about it because I think, first of all, I want to get another definition, but what I want to loop it back around to and talk about today is kind of like, how do you combat that? How do you combat it? And so let's start, first of all, with the other definition that I want from you, which is body image. What do you mean when you say body image?
The body image is not what you look like. It's what you think about your body. It's how you feel about your body. It's how you see your body. And it's all of those combined to give you this image that you think. And it's this whole, it's kind of this whole illusion. It's not exactly the truth of what your body is. It's all of the thoughts, the feelings, and how you see your body.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of, and I know you're familiar with it, of when we talk about on the show where we say like the problem isn't the problem. The problem is that you keep thinking and talking about the problem. So it's a little
exactly.
like it's not your body image, it's what you think about your body image. And so maybe actually that leads us right up to the question I just posed a second ago. I mean, is that kind of where it starts when it comes to combating? I mean, I don't like to use those kind of military words, but when it comes to like training your brain so that you're not so susceptible to the diet culture that's inundating us every day, does it start with just really focusing on thinking different thoughts or honing in those beliefs? And like what's the step by step?
Yeah. So when you have a body image that is not great, and diet culture is telling you, oh my gosh, you've got to lose weight, you've got to lose the wrinkles, you've got to, this is happening, you shouldn't have that happen, let's fix this. You have all of these messages just bearing down on you. And the first thing that you have to have is that awareness that, okay, I have a lot pushing down on me. I have this whole diet culture telling me I have to change, I'm not good enough, and I'm not worthy, and my body is not worthy, whatever the size, whatever the age, this is what we're told. And being aware of that is super important. And then being aware of the thoughts that all of the culture's telling you, and being able to say, okay, these are the thoughts that I'm having. So this is when the cognitive behavior coaching comes in. These are the thoughts that I'm having, and where are they coming from? What is the thought pattern coming from? Sometimes it's coming from your family of origin. Like, I've always grown up and mom was always dieting, or maybe it's coming from your friend group or your team or your coworkers. And sometimes it's all of them. And so these thoughts are really being aware of them is key to understanding, okay, I've got all of this diet culture happening. I have all these thoughts. In traditional dieting and weight loss, the objective is lose the weight. And so we go past the thoughts and the emotions, and we go past all of the brain training, and we go right to just stop eating or just do this exercise. And we don't ever get to that root cause, get to that why is this a problem? And it's that you talk about it all the time. It's the cycle of perpetual sameness. We don't get that. We work on the result, but we don't get the mindset, the thoughts, the feelings, where they're coming from. We just work on lose weight, just lose weight.
And action. We just do
Yeah.
action. Yeah. Yeah. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the cycle of perpetual sameness, because we have a reticular activating system in our brain, we look at the world we've got, we get the reticular activating system matches it up. We don't get the result we want. We have a negative self-talk. We keep reinforcing the same thing. And we're trying to overcome all of that thought pattern by just disciplining ourselves and working harder. And it's just really hard to be in disagreement with what your core belief system is and what your core thought patterns are when you're consistently thinking. And the other thing too that the diet culture does is it really sets us up where we're continually looking at and thinking about how we don't measure up. I remember being my early 20s, and I was part of kind of a radical feminist. We were, doing all sorts of radical things in the world. And I was really, doing a lot of counterculture things and not wearing makeup and all this, and, trying to just make my own decisions, about how do I want to live? And one of the things I used to say all the time at that time is like, I just don't want Maybelline to own my mind. I just want to own my own mind, and I think that that's really what you're suggesting here is you're kind of just saying like you might still make a decision to take the action to change your eating habits, but do it from a place of where you first have really looked at your thought patterns and really decided like whose code of conduct am I following? Am I following my own true heart? Am I following what sounds fun or what I want to do? Or am I just acting based on negativity that, in comparison, right? Like it just feels like this feels so much more proactive. Am I on track here with this?
Oh my gosh, you are right on track. And that's so interesting that you say that too, because you can still, I could still be someone that says, okay, I get this. My thoughts, my emotions, all of the issues, but I still want to, look younger or lose weight or get stronger or whatever that the diet
or give up gluten or give up sugar,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And I think it's an interesting point too, Dana, that you brought up about when you were like in the feminist and in your 20s and you were trying to, find your way and you were ultra feminist, because there's a huge connection between patriarchy, which is patriarchy is just the system in the world where men have the power and they dictate. I mean, that's just
not a secret. It's not a secret.
And they dictate, and it's not like, oh my gosh, you haven't learned this before. And they dictate a lot of times because of this how women view their bodies and how women treat their bodies and what is acceptable. And so diet culture, as we know it, as a money machine and an industry, started with in the 1880s with the women actually were allowed, or it was illegal before. Women couldn't have land, they couldn't own land, and then it became legal, and that scared patriarchy, because that means if women have land, they can have some power. And so at the same time was the introduction of the printing press. And the printing press that could print a lot fast. So there was a lot of, like, Harper's Bazaar was one of the magazines at that time. And the Gibson Girl was the first kind of beautiful debutante looking woman that was in these magazines. And the Gibson girl, if you think about like an old fashioned girl, you think about like bouffant hair, like poof, I don't know if it was a bun or what, and then big breasts, and then really tight waist, and then a big butt. So that was the Gibson girl is what that was. And she wasn't actually it wasn't a photograph. It wasn't a woman. It was a man, an artist named Gibson, who drew what he thought was the ideal woman for this magazine. And then it was like, oh, I want to look like that. Oh, I should have my hair like that. Oh, I should have my breasts like that, my waist like that, my butt like that. I mean, they started, okay, we're going to sell more corsets. Now we're going to sell, like, corsets were around before. Now we're going to sell bustiers that are more padded. We're going to sell you butt padding, like, so under your dress, you can have a big butt. We're going to sell soap that you can use, and the soap will melt away fat so you can look like the Gibson girl. And it just took off from there. And that's kind of how the
industry. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love hearing the history of things. It's so interesting. And I think, it almost feels to me, and this is how I felt in my 20s as well, and I still feel the same way today, is that it's an act of rebellion to live your own life and think your own thoughts. It's really just it's like you're starting your own revolution when you're just living your own life on your terms and doing what you can. Like, we all have to live in this culture, and there's all sorts of, different things that are going on. And there are a lot of people who are what I like to call asleep, who are just buying into the culture that's around. But those of us that are brain trainers, and those of us that are trying to create our own lives and our own outcomes, we can live in that culture without it feeling like, because sometimes what happens when I hear stuff like this, I can feel myself getting angry. You know what I mean? And I know like no good thing comes out of anger. It just brings me down. And so it's good for me to be aware, like, okay, this culture can exist without me, the more people who hear shows like this take control of their own thoughts, take control of their own lives, and move forward, like, that's a revolution. If we can get all women to do what you're suggesting, like, just think in their own minds and make their own decisions and really know, like, where is this coming from? Like, that's an act of revolution.
It is so revolutionary. And accepting your body is so revolutionary. And I'm not saying, okay, I'm not trying to get stronger, healthier, anything like that, but I'm this shape, and this is the shape that I am. And maybe we don't say, oh my gosh, you're so tall, let's try to get you shorter. And it's when you think about, there's a lot of things that we do, and you're like, why am I so focused on not wearing a different size shirt or pants? Like, why is
we don't say, like, I wish my feet were bigger, I'm gonna see what I can do about that. Like, nobody does that. It's so funny. That's hilarious.
And so it's interesting.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit more about mindset, because obviously, just like I said, like, it's so easy to get angry in this kind of environment. Like, what do you do to just keep yourself on track and keep yourself focused on your vision, what you're really trying to accomplish? And really, how does that move the needle in your business?
I am very aware of what I follow, social media, what I see, and how I don't go. It's so easy to go down a rabbit hole because the whole system is set. So, oh, I saw this, so now I get 20 of them. So you have to be very aware of, okay, I'm not going to just what I eat in a day, or I'm not going to just look at somebody putting on their makeup, and I'm going to be very aware of what I'm putting in my mind, I have to guard my mind, right? Yeah. And so guarding my mind also means I'm aware of what I'm telling myself about my body. And I'm also very aware of being compassionate. I have to be compassionate. I have to be able to say, it's okay for my body to look like this. And it's okay for me to have wrinkles. And it's okay for me to eat a food that I enjoy because I enjoy it. And it's okay if it's not perfect.
I could just feel the ease of that. And, you know, when
Yeah,
you start to have more compassion for yourself, you start to have more compassion, not only for the food and body things, but you have compassion for more of everything and more of everybody else as well. You
exactly.
know, makes such a big difference. And so that's when you are playing with this and doing this in your own business, you know, really it feels like this almost spills over into how you build your business as well. Like paying
Oh,
attention to what you're being inundated with on social media, paying attention to, you know, the things that people are telling you and checking in. You know, I know you are an intuitive eating coach, and I'm wondering if you could talk just a little bit about intuition and checking in with yourself and knowing, you know, how do you know if you're making a right decision or making a wrong decision, whether it's about, you know, eating or whether it's about how you feel about your body or whether it's about a building business tactic, you know, do you have a way for like just checking in with your body?
there is a method I guess I use that in intuitive eating and really in body image coaching too, is a body scan is what it is. And it's so when you think about, like, that's really not that complicated, but it's so foreign to a lot of us because we are so disconnected from that interoception, that, like, what is my body trying to tell me? And if you really stop and think, and do a scan and scan what are my thoughts, and you scan what am I feeling, and where am I feeling this, a lot of times you can get to the oh, it's showing up here, and what am I naming it? Oh, I'm naming it anxiety, and it's showing up in a certain, or maybe it's showing up in my stomach, and so really body scanning is so important, just because we're so disconnected from our bodies. We're so distracted with everything else. And so that mind body connection is really paramount to intuitive eating and being intuitive.
Yeah, when I learned how to body scan with Reiki, basically, for those of you who've never done it, it was really just standing with my hands at my sides, closing my eyes, and then just focusing on each part of my body going down. And if you notice something, the first time you go through, just notice it like, oh, back pain, and then keep going, right? And then, you know, what Angela is talking about, I was thinking too, like, if we, from when you were saying that, like, first of all, by the way, this is all very inspiring. And I was thinking when you were saying that, like, yeah, I'm not doing that often enough every day. That's a good idea. You know, like it's really a good idea to just check in with yourself because, you know, when you do get aware and you do wake up to some weird thing, like you might notice, like, why am I sitting here like this with my shoulders all crunched up? You know, and you wake up and you go like, okay, that's resistance, that's stress, that's some story I'm telling, you know, like why do I feel this anxiety or why do I feel this way? And just such a great advice and such a good practice to just start tapping that in. I think also too, Angela, and maybe you find this either whether it's in your own, you know, food journey or whether it's in your business, but do you also find that you use this to kind of know when a decision's not right? You know, I've had so many times where I've done something like sign up for a stupid Facebook ads course. And I know that's not me. I know organic growth is me. And then I go, you know, I would have known that if I would have just tapped in and just paid attention to how it felt, you know? Does that make sense?
Exactly. And it makes sense. The interesting thing too is that when we talk about body image and we do body image work, it does go into so many aspects of your life, including your business, including relationships. All of a sudden you have this connection that maybe wasn't there before, if it was not as strong of a connection. And it makes a huge difference in just being able to say, oh, my neck is really sore. I know exactly why my neck is sore because I've been going like this and I'm so anxious. And what is that? What's the cause of that? And being able to research, I guess, your thoughts. Where is this coming from? It's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, yeah, and you. By the way, I just have to give a shout out for your brand. Be a diet renegade, right? Like this is really what it is. This is about. It is being a renegade. It is an act of rebellion. It is an act of just standing up for yourself to think your own thoughts and to live your
Yeah.
own life on your terms. In whatever realm that you're doing it. So I just love all of that, and I want to give a shout out because I know many people in the sandbox. They're intuitive and they get intuition. I'm going to say that I was late to that party. Like I was very much, like ambition and in my head and didn't really get the whole intuition thing. And I think I thought it was something that it wasn't. And so for those of you that aren't using your intuition or going like, well, what is that? Like, do I have to be psychic to be intuitive or any of that? Just know that what Angela's talking about, getting in touch with your body, is most of it. Like when you can start to just feel that, we've all had that experience where you got that pit in your, something doesn't feel right about this, or you walk into a room and you're like, was somebody just arguing in here? We have it. We just don't call it intuition. And so I just want to give a shout out to those of you that maybe are new to that path.
And it's not
Angela,
often, I'm sorry,
oh,
Dana,
please.
it's not often
No.
that people say, oh, well, I should just be an intuitive eater. Often we're so disconnected that it takes practice, and you have to, it's not just something that comes about. You have to practice it. It's a skill. If you've been so detached from your body, so detached from your hunger and your fullness and your satisfaction, it takes a while to get back in there. So it's not, oh, I'm going to be an intuitive eater now. Like, no, it's going to happen. It takes time.
It does. It does. I'm totally with you. Even now, like as much as I know like I'm a stress eater, or if I've had a long day and I'm like, what can I eat to make myself feel better? You know what I mean? Like there is that automatic reaction we associate, like food, drug, feel good, So it's like it takes dedication to go. It doesn't mean like every time you make the choice that your ideal perfect self would make, but at least you just live a life that's more aware.
And with compassion too, Dana. So if you have a stressful day and you say, what am I going to eat that makes me feel good? That's food. That's life, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to eat rice cakes and call that good. I want to eat something that makes me feel good, and I feel good eating it. So diet culture would say, well, that's not good, or you should eat something that's better, or that's bad. But it's all food fits. There's room for all food.
Totally. Spoken like the true chocoholic that I know you are.
You're right.
That's right. I love it.
Right.
Oh my gosh, this was just so interesting. And I know we could go on and on. Maybe as we wrap up, is there any kind of parting shot you want to give to people? It could be, about mindset or compassion or kind of anything that you feel like would help them either on their body image path or on just, their business path or whatever you think. Is there anything like if you were going to say, you know what, just start doing this one thing and it will make your life better?
The one thing would be to ask yourself, what am I feeling?
Yeah.
So I want to go, I'm opening the cabinets because I'm hungry, but I just ate. Okay, what am I feeling? Is it hunger? Or do I just want something to eat because it's sweet? Yeah, I want something to eat because it's sweet. That's fine. Eat it. But just what am I feeling?
Totally.
Or I'm really, really feeling uneasy. What am I feeling? What is this feeling? And being able to it might not be a scan, but it might just be, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And
wow,
that truth, your thoughts are not the truth. Your thoughts are not the truth. That just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. So if you're like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm blah, 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 that doesn't mean it's true. Those are just thoughts.
Yeah, don't believe everything you think, in other words. That's so good. I love all of this. And oh my gosh, Angela, it was just so great. I loved having you here. And, this idea to just check in with how you're feeling. Like, really, if we could do that throughout the day. I have to tell you, the more I practice, this whole brain training and like being aware thing, the more aware I'm getting. And I'm shocked after 40 years of doing this, how I seriously have so many emotions in one day. Like, I'm like, how can I be the same person and have all these different emotions? But the more in tune we get with it, the more we're really living our lives on our terms. And so I love all of this. I love everything we talked about with Angela. And I know you do too. And you want to just give her a big old shout out in the comments and go, yeah, that was so good. Also, you want to connect with her? Guess what? She has a free, my favorite price, body image assessment. So you can just go do her little quiz. It's a free body image assessment. Where you find it is the link in the description. So go there, get all the freebies. You not only get the freebie from Angela, the free body assessment, but you get the freebies from all of the speakers today and all of the speakers from the whole summit. Like, wow, how cool is that you can get all those freebies, and our sponsors. Today, we've got sponsoring Yvonne Nicholson, and she has, I am not kidding you, the most darling weekly organizer that you can get for free if you just look at the link in the description, opt into the link in the description, and take Angela's body quiz and get Yvonne's cute little organizer. It's just absolutely darling and adorable. I know you're going to love that and all the other different gifts that are coming up today. And if I haven't mentioned it in the last 20 minutes, let me mention it now. That don't you want to hang out with Angela? Wouldn't it be fun to be in the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club and be able to go, hey, tag Angela and say, here's what I'm doing. Can you give me some tips? Or I would love here's the experience I had. I'd love to hear from you. Be able to hang out and share ideas with all of these different experts we're seeing. Well, guess what? When you sign up for the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club, I will send you the pen of expectation in the mail. The pen of expectation, whatever you write with it will come true. And yeah, I do ship worldwide. So definitely now is the time to sign up for the Positive Mindset Entrepreneurs Club. Today's the last day of the summit. Get on it. All right. Some of Angela's favorite mantras: every day in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. Wow, that's such a good classic one, isn't it? The problem is not the problem. The problem is that I keep thinking and talking about the problem. I love that she put that down. We just talked about it on today's show. Next up, we've got Dee Wilkins. Oh my gosh, she's a doodle evangelist. What's a doodle evangelist? Well, you're going to find out, because Dee is absolutely passionate about creativity, and she knows it's as important as breathing and sleeping, and it's a process. It's actual self-care. It's not about the actual art. I know you're going to love hearing from Dee, and we are going to be up with Dee in 28 minutes. So be right back here. I can't wait to see you then. It's day 4 of the Joypreneur Summit. Oh my gosh, let's have the best day ever. All right. I'll see you here. Bye, everybody.